Hello, everyone. I am super excited for you to be here today because we have an awesome guest. And when I say awesome, I mean awesome guest. She's high energy. Her name is Evie Pacheco. She is a dedicated real estate professional with over 3 years of experience in the industry. Yes, you heard me right, with over 3 years. She currently is preparing to launch her own property management company.
Man.
Prior to entering into real estate, she spent 14 years working on an ambulance, a role that
Wow.
fueled her passion for taking care of people and providing support during critical times. In her personal life, she cherished spending quality time with her family, exploring new culinary creations in the kitchen. I like that. And embarking on adventures to destinations she's never visited. She believes the importance of building strong relationships and community connections, both personally and professionally. Wow, that's an awesome bio. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey Evie, how you doing?
Hey, hey, how are you
Welcome,
there? I'm
welcome.
great.
Well,
Thank
Thank
you,
you, thank
guys.
you, thank you.
We
Yeah,
are super
absolutely. Hey, guys.
happy to have you, and we are so appreciative for
I'm
you to
happy to
join
be
us
here.
today. Yes, yes. And so, before we start, right, can you just tell a little bit, before we get into like the real estate, I know that you're a real estate professional, right? And you're looking to
Yes,
start
ma'am.
your own property management company, but just, give us a little bit about what you did prior to that. You mentioned that you worked in an ambulance for 14 years.
Yep, I was an intermediate on the ambulance for 14 years. Loved it. I got hurt in 2019, and it ended my career.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Three surgeries later, I was done and decided to go to real estate, and here I am.
Oh, okay, real estate. Okay. So let me ask you, so what made you choose real estate? There's so many different careers to choose out there, especially with you being in the medical field. What made you, steer into real estate?
I had a good friend of mine that owned Remax at the time. I believe she just sold it, Sunny Ryder, and we just started talking one day in the kitchen about it, and I was asking her questions, and I don't know, it just interested me. And she said, Evie, for your love of people and the way you are with people, you would excel. You got to go. And I did, and so far so good.
Right, right. And I have to agree with her. So for those of you who don't know, Evie is coming all the way from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
yeah,
And this is
uh,
the
Good job.
Yes, Fayetteville, North Carolina, yeah. And so she's actually my agent, and I've purchased, a couple of properties through her, and I know that she's an awesome agent. And like when I went to the last seminar in Puerto Rico, they talked about not working for like a commission check, but working for like a 5-star reviews. Let that be your currency. And I will say that Evie does an awesome job of doing so. So she goes over and beyond to help her clients,
Aw,
and I can attest to that.
thank
That's
you, Miss
good,
Bridget.
man. That's good information. And Bridget, if I can I ask this first question?
Absolutely.
All right, I might steal one of your
You
questions, but I
hey,
want
you
to
do
ask this.
ladies first, but I'll give you the pass today.
All right,
Okay.
got you. Thank you, Evie. We want to thank you for joining our podcast, and we know you're gonna have some valuable information. The question is, because then I'll get silent, right? I'll start listening. So I wanted to ask this question. The question is, we know there's different tiers in real estate. We know there's different levels and different professions that people choose. You have the investor, you have the person that flips, you have the wholesaler, you have what you are into the property management. Is there just one specific aspect of real estate that you prefer the most, or you feel that you're going to dwell in every one?
So I really like the residential side a lot. I do listings. They're not my favorite, but I do them. My
No,
favorite, my
people love listings. No, you
Um,
don't like listings?
well, my favorite are the buyers. I like relationships. So I
Right.
get bored easy. Like you said, I'm high energy, so I like to get in the car. Let's ride. Listen to some music. Let's go look at 100 houses. And to me, it's the gamble, right? Because you have one person listing a house, but you have 15 people that want to buy it. And for me, it's the gamble. My clients are going to get it, and so I love that side of it. The property management side, I just started about a year and a half ago. And I love it so much that I'm getting ready to start my own company. Hopefully, my doors will open.
Yay! Yes, and she does manage some of my properties too, and she's doing an
Yep,
awesome
yep,
job.
That's good.
I
yep.
will say that.
That's good.
Yes. And so, I really would like to learn the commercial real estate a little more. I feel like, the owner of the firm that I'm with currently, she told me when I first started, because I want to do it all. And she
Okay.
said, you have to become an expert in one before you can keep going. So I feel like I learned, you know, residential real estate really, really well where I was comfortable. And so then I branched into property management. I feel like I've got that in the bag. I'm real comfortable. And I'm going to run my company different than a lot of things that I've heard and know about property managers, right? And
Mhm.
so my next endeavor is to start learning more commercial. So me and Bridget can buy multi units together, a whole lot.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, yes, yes. And see,
That's
that
good.
speaks volumes about Evie because I'm not sure about your market, Evie, but I know in my market where I'm at in New York, Asians tend to prefer listings because listings, they tend to get more money.
It's
Those
Right.
easy
commission
money.
checks tend to be higher, and then actually, too, with a listing, it could be less work. you know.
Yeah,
So you said you like the opposite. You like working with buyers. That speaks
I
volumes
do.
about you and having relationships, with your clients and your customers.
Yeah, that's my preference. I have two listings coming up. I mean, I do
All
them. I just don't
right.
enjoy them as much because it's more, you're meeting with one person and you're getting some pictures taken and a sketch taken, and there's not a lot of interaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I prefer the hustle bustle. I like to work. And
Oh,
I'm
okay.
also in school to get my Florida real estate license. I just finished the class. I took the state practice exam, passed that. I'm getting ready
Oh,
to take
wow.
the,
Nice.
yep, getting ready to take the
Congratulations.
class.
That's
Yeah.
good.
You're doing a lot,
Wait,
girl.
yeah,
You are
We're
yes,
doing
gonna
a
have
I
to
am.
lot.
we're
Hey,
gonna have to get with you too. I gotta catch up. We're gonna have to get with you too.
Yeah, let's go. I'll sell you my house too.
Let me tell you, she's the only agent that I know that can be driving. She'll FaceTime you the neighborhood while she's driving by before she get up to the house and stuff.
That's important, right? You need to know what the neighborhood looks like if you're going to buy a house. You got to know.
Yes,
And I
yes,
mean,
yeah.
Bridget being in New York and I'm here, that's how we have to conduct business sometimes. You have to be able to go. She finds something and I run.
Right.
Wow.
And she does. She runs. She really runs. She like, listen, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And she's
hey, and also that's the beauty of modern technology, where you have that access and
Absolutely.
availability where someone could be in another country and you can still show
Exactly.
them and not just give them like you just telling them about it or whatever. You can actually show them like with your phone, like look at this, look, you know what I mean, the
That's right.
neighborhood.
right,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
And
That's right.
it's not just every agent that will go this route. So a lot of agents, they'll just send you pictures, but she would actually go there. She would send you pictures. She would video it. She would FaceTime you, like I said, as she's driving. So you don't get that from a lot of agents. And she's very punctual. Like, if you send her something, she's right on top of it. Like she's getting me to move. She's like, Bridget, you didn't respond to me. You want me to go see it? I'll be there. I'll
Yeah.
set the
Let's go.
appointment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So she's really good with that. Really good
That's
with it.
good.
So let me ask you, Evie. So I know that you're doing, the property management and you're doing a real estate agent. So do you prefer one over the other?
No, I don't think so. I think I love them both equally.
You like them?
They're two very different aspects of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so for me, with my mind that's everywhere and multitasking and doing all these things, for me it brings something different for me. That's what I loved about the ambulance. I think besides helping people, it was always something different. You couldn't get bored with that. You never knew what was coming. Them tones go off, and that adrenaline's kicking. And so for me, I think I like them equally because it's always something different. Property management, you gotta there's so many more challenges in property management than I thought I was going to encounter. But getting through those and you know there's so many even in real estate. I mean, there's so many times that you're just like, oh my god, it just feels so stressful, and then it's it's what it takes to overcome it, and then you get past it, and your clients are happy, and your owners are happy, or your tenants are happy, because the tenants are just as important as the owners, right?
Absolutely.
And it's that feel good. So I still find that that's what I thought I was missing on the ambulance, but I have found it in real estate. Does that make sense?
Oh,
So I'm not
Right.
really missing anything except my body's not getting tore up anymore.
That's good. I got a question. I know property managers deal with a lot, like you say, you're dealing with the actual tenants way more than their owners do. So I know how do you deal with those middle of the night phone calls? You know what I mean? Broken toilets and
You,
sink, things of that nature.
I so when I tell you that I run something a little different, one of the key differences is the relationships that I have with my tenants and with my owners. And my tenants respect me. My tenants don't call me in the middle of the night. I haven't had that happen yet. And
Okay.
if they did, I would answer my phone. But
Right.
they don't do that. They respect me. Property checks. If I give them 24-hour notice and they're like, "Hey, are you hungry? I made lunch. I got some, perfume here. I think your girlfriend will love it." They I think I find that when you take care of people and it's genuine, they take better care of your properties. They respect you, and your job just is easier. I'm not saying it never gets stressful because everybody goes through hardships, but and Bridget talked about this too, like having a heart with people. You can't let somebody run over you, but you should have a heart.
Right.
And in that, you're going to run a successful business. So, yeah, I haven't had to deal with that, but if I did, I've got amazing contractors, and I don't wait now. If
Right.
they call me and something's broke, someone's over there fixing it.
Right.
Period.
That's,
Right,
that's good. That's good.
So
When you
I'm
said
sure.
sorry, E, when you said property checks as in property management, how many times is a property check a month or couple during the year? Which is it?
so the way that I'm going to run my company and the way that I run mine now, I do quarterly checks every 3 months, which
Okay.
is unheard of. Most companies do every 6 months, every year. I do every 3 months. I feel like I owe that to my owner, and
and with pictures as well too. She sends pictures
I do. I do. I
of
take
each and
pictures of the
every
inside,
room.
That's
outside, and then
good.
I take little
Yes.
notes on my phone, and so they'll get a whole file of pictures, and then
Hmm.
anything that tenants want to address, they know about it right then.
Yeah, yeah. So although you're not there, it's as if you are because she takes pictures of each and every room, the
Yep,
inside, outside. Yeah, so she's very thorough with that.
all of it.
Now, also, like your screening process, like if you're moving in a new tenant, like what is like a screening process like consist of? Like, what do you look for particularly?
There's an app that they have to apply with, and the company's criteria, your credit's got to be close to a 650. I
Okay.
believe my company, you have to make 3 times the rent and income. I kind of run that how I like, and I do 2.5 times. Most people don't make 3 times the rent and income.
Mm-hmm.
So I do 2.5, and then no felonies. And so everything is negotiable, right? I mean, if you had a felony from 8 years ago, everybody deserves a second chance. You've held a good job. You're a good citizen, a good human being. I'm going to have conversations with my owners. Or if your credit is, 600 instead of 650, but you just went through a nasty divorce and you're trying, but you've got this good stable job. Everything is case by case for me.
Right. Right. Yeah, it makes sense. That's smart.
And I'm a vibe person. So anybody that inquires about one of my properties, we have phone calls. I'll send them a message first to tell them what the criteria is. If they never speak to me again, then I move it to the next. If they show interest, then we have phone conversations, because I can tell a lot about a person just in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of money to be made in property management, and I don't want to babysit people. So if I don't get a good vibe from you over the phone, then I don't think there should be any more conversation. But I absolutely screen people, because that's me on the line.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And if you seem like good people, we're gonna work it.
Okay.
So you mentioned something that's very important. So you said there's not a lot of money in property management, and people tend to think the opposite. So with that being the case, why are you doing property management?
I just love it. I feel like I'm providing a service to people. I couldn't imagine being in the military and getting shot overseas for 3 years, and I have this gorgeous $350,000 home, and I have nobody to oversee it. They're putting their trust in me, and to me that's important. That's more important than money, and the money will come.
Right.
It's not really about the money.
Right.
Right.
Everybody wants it.
I was trying to put together when you said you was working on the ambulance, and they asked you a question about what made you go into real estate. I left it at that, and I didn't put the two together until you just put it together. When you said you like serving people, right? So
Hmm.
now it in my mind, I see what you mean. For
Yep.
14 years working in the ambulance service, it is also like serving people because, like you gave the criteria you're looking for, but in the same token, on the other end, the people that is looking for are looking for a come up or not a handout, so to speak, but a new life maybe or a new
Right.
way to do things. They need somebody also to believe in them to say, I think you're going to treat this property well. We're going to treat you well. So I
That's right.
understand.
Yeah, and everybody deserves a second chance, in my opinion.
Right.
And that's all owner specific. Of course, if the owner's like, absolutely not, there's nothing I can do. But if I have a good feeling about you and I can
Right.
vouch for you, I'm going to try to vouch for you. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So,
She's true to that, I will say.
yep.
I
That's
like this. I
yeah.
like this. I like this episode because it ties in. Because we had Bridget on first,
Right.
um, the property. We had Bridget on first talking about real estate, right? And we're going to have
Uh-huh.
so many different episodes with people. But I like how all of this is tying in because I just had a conversation earlier with my wife, something similar. When she sent me the Bible, that bio, I didn't even really look at it, right? Because I was running
Okay.
around doing things. But we had a conversation about that, what you just said about a person's background and their credit score and this, that. And we were going back and forth. But it's imperative to get these things done through a third party. Like should you never
Absolutely.
just use your instincts, like you said? It's imperative to go through the third party.
Yeah, you got to. You've got to. I mean, you can. I mean, there's mass murderers that have been right around us that we didn't even know. You know what I mean? And they seem like the
Yeah.
greatest people in the world, and can look you in your face and say, "Oh no, I've never hurt anybody." And you just don't know who you're placing in your house, so it's
That's
imperative
true.
that you do the background
Yeah.
checks. You've got to do
Yeah.
those at a
Yeah.
minimum. But the system ties them in together, so it's kind of cool. You get all in one. You get eviction notifications if they've ever been evicted. Now that I don't, that I'm real funny about. I'm not placing somebody that's got evictions. I'm not doing that. I don't, because if that's your pattern, like especially if you have evictions and bad credit, I
Right.
can't do that. There's a reason that you have those things, right? So, um, but I like the system that it checks all those things.
Right, right. And when you place the right tenant in the property, it just makes your life so much easier. And then when you
Man,
place a nightmare, which we had that experience, Evie, right? We were going back and
facts,
forth to court with
facts.
that tenant,
Blind
right?
man can't walk. That lady became blind overnight.
Wow.
Right. She said that she got electrocuted by the
The microwave.
microwave.
Uh,
They were
She
going
was she
back.
was fine in Walmart when Bridget saw her, and then she comes into the courthouse with the blind people glasses and a walking. You still
So
getting
that's
out?
So that's the con. So that's the
Yes.
con.
You
Exactly,
know,
exactly.
and
That's the cons of it. What other cons are there? Because you gave us all the positive outlooks, and that's real good. I like to see the glasses half full, but for those out there that see the glasses half empty, what are the cons?
The
Have y'all ever had
cons.
anybody that just refused to pay?
so many.
Uh, yeah, me and Bridget had to evict one like that. That's she
Yeah,
brought
this
me.
lady, yeah.
Miss
Yeah,
Bridget
and
brought
she
me in because she didn't want to deal with her no more. Just can you just get her out of my house? Yes, I
Wow.
can. We're gonna get her out
So
together. We did.
yeah.
wow.
There's plenty of cons,
Mhm.
so on both sides, owner side and tenant side. It's a
Mhm.
con when you're managing a property for an owner and the owner does not want to fix things that he's obligated to repair, he or she, right?
mhm.
Maybe they don't have the funds to do it, or you know, I I definitely interview my owners as well. I don't want to work for a slumlord.
Right.
That my reputation's on the line. So
Mm.
I'm interviewing you as well. My tenants deserve to live in peace. Just as you want your rent to come every month on time, my tenants want to live in a good functioning home. So
Right.
can you provide that? If not, I don't want to take your rental.
Right.
Um, and then the cons, you have tenants that I've only had to evict, counting Miss Bridget's, I've had to evict 3 people, and one just was going through a crisis, and the husband was out working on the road. The wife started meeting people online, trashed the house, stopped paying rent, and I really didn't have to evict her. I had to file the paperwork, but she left herself. She was already gone.
Right.
Um, and then sometimes it breaks my heart. Like the other one I had to evict. She was a young lady with 2 children and had a great job when she came and hit a rough patch and car broke down, lost her job. And that one absolutely, I mean, it broke my heart. I hated it. But at the same time, I think one of the hugest cons is remembering that business is business.
Right. Right.
And that's something that I'm learning. But business is business. If you don't pay, you can't stay, and that's real hard for me. But I will work with somebody. Me and Miss Bridget both, like,
Mhm.
I'll threaten you to the moon, but we're gonna work with you as long as you're trying. Now, if you're not trying, you
Right.
gotta go.
And that's one reason why a lot of owners delegate that responsibility to property managers because they don't have the stomach to, sometimes they get too personal with the tenants. You know what
Right.
I mean? And then when they encounter an experience like you mentioned where they're not paying rent consistently because of something personal in their life, but you still running the business.
That's
So
right.
you still have to make that decision. So you have a lot of tenants that say, you know what, let the property management do it, where it's not so personal so much.
Right.
Right.
It's like a buffer in between. Right. It's a buffer in between.
Because some people say, you got a heart, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know what, you can't pay this month, okay, fine, don't worry about
Uh-huh.
it. The next month come, you know what, you looking at the kids, next thing you know, a year went past, and then
Right.
sometimes that person is getting over on you. You know,
Say
That's
that.
right.
I was going to say that because it has happened to me plenty of times. So you got to know
Yep.
how to,
right,
redo it.
right, they're taking advantage of you. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So you have to really use discernment in
It's
that
it's
regard.
hard because like I said, I'm all about relationships, right? And so you kind of befriend. I have a line. I have a hard line with tenants, right? But you befriend your tenants, and um, you want to be a safe space for them as well, right? But then I have to have that line. Like, I've had tenants like, "Hey, we're having a birthday party this weekend. We're cooking out. Come through." Okay, I might not. I can't, right? Because then I'm crossing those lines. That's becoming too much.
Right.
And then when I have to handle business, I'm gonna be like the owner would be and be like, "Okay, just another month." And so you have to have those lines and those
It's true.
boundaries. That's something I'm still learning, right? I mean, I'm human. I'm definitely getting better at it, but those boundaries, you got to have boundaries.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you
So
have some tenants, they will purposely try and get really close to you, hoping that they can get away with, a lot of issues. So you got to be,
Yeah.
careful of that because I've had that happen to me,
Hmm.
on a few occasions too. So like now it's just like with my tenants, it's just strictly, business.
Yeah.
I can be nice and courteous,
That's
but
right.
I don't get too close to them.
Yep.
Right.
Hmm.
so it seems to me because and so now there's no stupid question, and I'm a novice at this, right? So it seems to me that the project manager or the property manager, sorry, the property manager is really plays an integral role, right? Because um,
Absolutely.
you have to be able to trust them, right?
Right.
Because so is
Mhm.
the property manager responsible for collecting rent as
Hmm.
well, or no?
No, no, well, so no, not really. I mean, we have a system for that, but I
Okay.
am responsible for, friendly rent reminder. Don't forget to change your air filters. Why is your rent not paid? When do you plan on paying it? I mean, I'm responsible to go evict people. I have to do the court papers and go sit in the courtroom. And it's a lot of responsibility in property management, from what I've been told, gets reported to the real estate commission more than any other branch in real estate. Um, and I don't know what the reasoning is for that. I don't know if they're doing bad business, or I can't imagine what would make you get turned into the real estate commission. Hopefully, I don't find out.
Well, you know why? Because
Why?
you're different from most property managers. There are, I'm not trying to bash property managers,
Yeah.
but I've dealt with other ones. But there's a lot of not so good, or should I say mediocre, property management companies out there. And
Yeah.
so I've heard complaints from other owners where they may have had, well, the property manager told them that the property was actually vacant and it was
Hmm.
occupied, and the property manager was actually collecting the rent and not letting the
Oh
owner
my
know.
God!
And the
What?
owner lived out of state, and so they didn't come and visit the property, but they happened to do a surprise visit, and the property was occupied. Another
Wow.
thing is as far as them locking up repair charges. So there's a lot of, you know, things that's not done right with property management companies. So people, they're kind of cautious when they do deal with them,
It's
But
true. I've heard there's a little, I've heard a lot of stories.
yes.
I've heard a lot of stories, and
Hmm.
personally, I can't speak on that because I don't know. But
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of stories,
so
and
how quick do you have to get a new tenant back in there, Bridget? How quick, if you have to evict one, how or one leaves, is imperative to immediately get another tenant back in
oh
there?
Well,
yeah,
I
they
Like
get.
guess
you,
that's owner dependent. I guess it depends on the owner. But you have to get the property rent ready again too. So depending
Yeah,
on how the tenant left the
depending on how
property,
bad they left it. Yeah.
yeah, you have to get the property
Mhm.
rent ready. But ideally, you want to get somebody in there as soon as possible because an empty unit doesn't pay your bills. So you
That's
want
right.
a tenant in there to get that cash flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
gotcha.
I try to get them filled real quick.
Right. Okay, I got a question. I know there's a lot of people just in general interested in entering into the industry, in various angles, but specifically what it is you do. So, what advice or like suggestions or recommendations would you give to someone considering becoming a property manager, just in doing what you're doing,
I would
Or a
tell
real
them
estate
not.
agent.
or a real estate agent? Right.
I would tell them that don't do any of it for the money. The money is going. The money is great. I mean, it's more money than I ever made on the ambulance, right? But that's not my motivator. The money is not my motivator. Do it. Do right by people. Do just be a good human and do right by people. Take care of your clients. I mean, I've given up thousands of dollars at the closing table, thousands to make a deal work. Take care of your people. And I've had families like I sold this older couple a house, and then they sent me their daughter and son, and I sold their house, put them in another one. Then they gave me their daughter and son, and I sold them a house, and now they want me to property manage their house, and they're going to buy another one out. If you do right by
Repeat
people,
business.
business will come. It will come, and you don't
Right.
have to. I can sleep at night, right? That's important
Right.
to me. I want to be
Yeah.
able to lay my head down and feel good. I
Right.
can
That's a
sleep
good
Right.
at night.
question, E. I like that question. That's a good question.
And
And
a
is
lot
it,
of.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Stanley.
No,
Sorry.
no, no. That's a good
No.
question because the type of person I am, a lot of time I'm chasing the money. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna do people
You're being
wrong.
transparent,
I'm
huh?
not gonna do people wrong, right?
Right.
The new me, right? The new the new
Oh,
yeah, yeah, the
He
evolved
said the
me. But
old me,
back
I was
when
a
I was
little
younger,
bad, but the
right?
new me.
But back when I was younger, yeah, that applies because when you chase money and you do people and you try to do things to get money, it never works out for you. So that
No.
angle, that's a good question. And the response I liked because it was such a direct response saying just be good to people. Do
Yeah.
good by people.
right. Yeah, because with that principle, the money's going to come.
It will.
If,
Yep. Absolutely.
if you're doing good work, you're building relationships,
Hmm.
you're personable, you're compassionate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The money will follow. I think sometimes, just in general, and not just this the culture of America. You know what I mean? It's money, 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 money. We the
Right.
realistic society, but and then we disregard the humanity.
Hmm.
Or what it takes to make all that money.
Right, right,
Because
exactly.
you can be you, I mean, you could be a real estate agent and never sell a house. Or you
Right,
could be a real estate agent and sell two or three and ruin your entire reputation from those two or three deals.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I mean, that happens too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
one thing I remember the owner of my company told me, she said, not just to me, but we were in a meeting and she said, you have to find time for yourself. Turn your phone off at a certain time. And I feel a whole lot different than that. I feel like I don't want to turn my phone off, right? I'm trying to grow an empire. I'm trying to grow a
That's
business,
right.
something that my stepchildren later down the road can run if they choose, right?
Right.
Yes.
A
I like
reputable,
that.
great company. And so I don't want to turn my phone off. I've heard some, property managers say my hours are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Hmm.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. My hours are not.
Right.
You you can call me whenever, right? Call me.
One
Call me.
text.
Look, if
Yep.
there's an issue, let's get it fixed. Call
That's
me.
good.
I'll
She's
answer
very
my phone.
responsive.
If I
Yes, she
can't answer, I'm
responds
gonna text
quickly.
you and tell you I'm tied up. I'm gonna call you right back. But I believe that in any business, you're gonna get out of it what you put in it, and that goes.
Absolutely.
I don't care
Absolutely.
what you're doing, even
Hmm.
healthcare. I had patients that would find me on the middle of a sidewalk and be like, "Oh, you took care of my dad, and da 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 da. I remember you, or you stopped and prayed with us outside of Walmart. I remember you." Um,
Hmm.
be a good person. That's it.
I
Just
Right.
be
like
good
that.
people.
Yes, that's simple.
It's that simple, right? But
Yep.
I might steal it and put it on a shirt now.
Steal it, baby.
Be a
Steal it.
good person.
Look.
Right?
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you all a shirt with my new property management name, Level Up.
Yeah,
That's
Level
yeah,
Up.
right.
yeah.
Level
That's
up.
what I like. Level up management. What's the name it's gonna be?
Level Up Premier Property Management.
All
I like that.
We're
right.
I
leveling
like that.
up.
Let me tell you something. It was our pleasure. I was about to say mine, but it was our pleasure. Whenever
Yes.
Thanks,
somebody
guys.
takes their
Mine too.
time, to give our audience and us as well valuable information, and I thank you very much, and I know everyone thanks you very much.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
want you. I want to give you the opportunity to, like you just said, let them know what your company is. Let them know your email if you want. Let them know where they can find you, and we're going to also include that when we put, this episode
Okay.
out. We're gonna continue to do that, but we want you to give you this opportunity how people can find you.
Got your social media, everything.
All right, guys. So my name is Evie Pacheco. That's how you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. It's Boss BossBaby Pacheco Pacheco. My real estate company is Everything Pines Partners Fayetteville. That's who I'm under. I will sell a house anywhere in North Carolina. Call me and we're going to go see it. My property management company currently is Everything Pines Partners Rentals out of Southern Pines. Like I said, the doors to mine will be open April 1st or May 1st
All
latest.
right.
Level Up will be opening up. So send your people to me. I'll take good care of them. And the number is 910-978-0497. And thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining
Welcome. Thank
us.
you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you. We're so appreciative.
Right.
absolutely.
Very
Yes.